MTE 2021 Virtual Edition will be the catalyst in encouraging innovators and inventors to share and inculcate innovativeness and sustainability in their research. Innovation is not just about making new and better products. It encompasses all aspects of ideas, processes, systems, services, methods, and models.
As large gatherings are no longer encouraged, I'm happy to see that MTE has gone virtual. This will allow more innovators and to promote their innovation and share their ideas with the world.
We look forward to university putting a strong efforts to forge strategic collaboration with industry to generate new sciences, innovations, and commercial entities.
There may come a day in the near future when we have overcome this crisis, but our innovations may be able to assist another country in their fight against the pandemic.
To lift student engagement and attainment in innovation and to support teachers and improve student outcome, innovation and technopreneur mind.
Involving youth at an earlier stage is important, especially as Malaysia is slowly but surely becoming a greying nation. Innovation alone is not sufficient. We must also create an infrastructure for incubation of ideas and transform them into successful ventures.
Enhancing not only in the design but also the delivery of public goods and services for the people. Innovation in government is imperative not only to transform but also to stay ahead of change.
The quick responses to protect its citizens from COVID-19 shows the unity of the nation. Know that your contribution is critical to the transformation of our country.
I'm fully confident that this year's MTE IIA, albeit on a new normal platform and approach, has achieved its desired impacts.
It has been nurturing the innovation culture among scientists, researchers, students and startup founders in order for them to transform their ideas into business ventures.
Innovation, as you know, continues to play an important role in the fight against COVID-19 as governments continue to seek to halt the virus spread in the short term, implement measures to aid economic recovery and build resilience to future social and economic disruptions.
I eagerly look forward to learn more about your work for the COVID-19 response so it can be deployed to help the government manage the pandemic and future emergencies. By embracing innovation, we can certainly reset our approach to combating this war.
This award recognizes and honors innovators, researchers, and businesses for their excellence in innovating during a crisis, as well as resilience to look outwards and solve problems that the healthcare system and communities faces.
Knowledge Resources for Science and Technology Excellence Malaysia, or CRIS.my, is a knowledge management portal for research and development, R&D. It is spearheaded by MOSTI to address science and technology challenges faced by the science, technology and innovation STI community. Let's explore more with our mascot, CRIS. CRIS.my has 6 main information modules. STI organization provides basic information on organizations involved in R&D activities and other STI-related services. Malaysian Human Resources in STI, My HR STI, contains human resource profiles such as researchers and experts involved in R&D activities in the field of STI. National Scientific Facilities and Equipment, NSFE, aims to encourage the sharing of facilities and equipment and cultivate research collaboration among the STI community. You can also book FNE via portal or mobile apps. R&D Project Bank shows lists of information on research, development and commercialization projects throughout the Malaysia Plan, as well as its outputs and achievements. Technology Market, or TechMart, promotes local products or technologies and boosts technology transfer among researchers and industry. STI Indicator is used to measure the performance of STI in Malaysia based on goals established by the government. CRIS.my empowers you to formulate STI policies based on STI data, streamline and optimize R&D resources, practice data-driven decision-making, harness scientific knowledge for new invention and innovation. Our new features will allow elastic search, automatic email notification, mass upload, live updates, dynamic report, online booking. Be a part of CRIS.my to explore the explosion of scientific knowledge and information. CRIS, connecting you to the world of innovation.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next lined up program is a knowledge sharing session. Please enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with a presentation by Encik Muhammad Fauzi Ismail, Director of Industrial Centre of Innovation for Energy Management. Please welcome Encik Muhammad Fauzi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mimi.
You're welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to all the webinar participants today. My name is Ahmad Fauzi bin Ismail. I'm a Director of Industrial Centre of Innovation in Energy Management, SIRIM Industrial Research. It gives me a great pleasure basically to be with you today in this webinar sessions to share my thoughts, to share projects that we did for industry, how we can be of assistance to you in terms of managing your energy better in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, energy has been the driver for economic and social development. With energy, the nation can power up factories, production facilities, businesses, building, schools, hospitals, and houses. Practically every aspect of our life revolves around technology that requires energy and power. Since the industrial age, the world has been over-reliant on fossil fuel to drive industrialization. Today, Malaysia generates electricity primarily from burnings of fossil fuel to supply power through our national grids. And this accounts for nearly 80% of the total carbon emission in Malaysia. The other major sector that contributes to CO2 emission is the transportation itself, something that we cannot ignore. To address global warming and climate change, Malaysia has committed to reduce 45% of GSG emission intensity of GDP by 2030 based on COP21 Paris Agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, these are two graphs, similar graphs, the ones on the left. The graphs on final energy consumption taken for the National Energy Balance Report 2018. The ones on the top, okay, is the final energy consumption by sector, okay, by sector. And the one at the bottom is final energy consumption by fuel type, okay. If you can see on the top there, the industrial sector accounts for nearly 30% of the final energy consumption. The second largest sector after the transportation, the one indicated in red, okay? The blue ones refers to the industry. Okay? If you look at the bottom one, electricity accounts for 20% of the total energy consumption by fuel type, meaning that the other 80% basically come from fossil fuel in the forms of natural gas or other petroleum product, diesel, things like that. Okay. Given that 50% of the total electricity generation is utilized by the industrial sector, we come to a conclusion. That electricity accounts for 1/3 of the final energy consumption by the industrial sector. And the remaining 2/3 basically come from fuel, fossil fuel. It is important to understand that these 2/3 in the forms of fossil fuels are basically relates to industrial process heating. Fuel used to generate heat for various industrial process. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not sustainable in the long run, and industry players has to look for option basically to decouple this carbon and move towards a green economy. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Industrial Centers of Innovation in Energy Management, we offer comprehensive energy solution that enable industry players to progressively decouple fossil fuel into green energy. This will in turn save your energy bill and contribute to CO2 emission reduction and promotes green economy. Ladies and gentlemen, our initial engagement, the one written there, number 1, our initial engagement with industry begin with comprehensive energy audit exercise. This is a very important step to be undertaken right from the beginning. At this point, our technical team will do energy measurement and analysis for a period at least 7 days. This where we log our power analyzer and main supply board, and sub-supply board, and specific equipment to monitor energy demand and profile throughout the week. We also do assessments of thermal energy supply. Okay, first one we talk about electricity. Now we say we also do assessments of thermal energy supply, such as boiler, heating elements, and look for process optimization. The results, we can identify significant energy users and energy apportionment and losses based on major equipment and facilities. And then we propose energy saving measure. Ladies and gentlemen, normally after energy audit, two new technology solutions will be proposed to improve demand side management. Number 1 is solar industrial process heat. Solar industrial process heat that will address the thermal energy requirement. Secondly, solar PV, energy storage, and intelligent energy management to address the electricity part of the factory. So our technical team will assess your demand for electricity and thermal energy, undertake design works, and propose a solution, basically, that suits your factory conditions and budget. This is our first job, to carry out energy audit. Okay, this is a typical energy data taken one of the energy audit project recently. This is a weekly electricity demand and profiles of the plant operation. Okay, the pie chart describes electricity apportionment by major facilities and processes in this particular factory, Consortium Pekars in Berhad. It is important for us to prioritize energy saving measure that brings about maximum impact to the company. Similarly, when applying thermal energy supply, for instance, from a boiler, we ascertain energy losses during combustion, energy losses during conveyance of steam, and final losses in the final process, in this case, drying of wood, and at the return condensate. Thus, the effective thermal energy demand at the process level can be satisfied. This is very important the moment we want to integrate solar energy solution into the process. Ladies and gentlemen, let us understand process heat demand of various subsectors. This analysis is taken for the National Energy Balance Report in 2016. The figure very much the same as what we are looking at, from year to year, even until today. The trend is almost quite the same. These are the main industrial subsector that contributes to a high energy consumption within the industry. The bars on the left there indicates the types of fuel used by different subsectors. The yellow refers to electricity, while the brown and the orange basically are those petroleum-based fuel. And normally they are used for process heating. Okay. In these three subsectors, the one I put there, the line there, and moving to the right, another chart there. These three subsectors, chemical, transports and machinery, and food and beverage. We observe high energy consumption for process heating associated with low temperature. When I say low temperature, if you look at the graph on the right-hand side, those are, having yellow in color. This is temperature normally 100 degrees and below. Okay. This process, 100 degrees Celsius and below, can easily be met by solar heating. A topic that I want to talk about a bit more later. Okay. For instance, in the food and beverage industry, heat is utilized in many industrial processes. Sterilizations, the food is carried out at high temperature to kill all the bad bacteria. Similarly, pasteurization of milk is done at certain temperatures below 100 degrees Celsius to maintain its freshness and to ensure free of bad bacteria. Boiling of water in food industry is common. Hot water is used for preparations in cooking and cleaning in general to maintain certain hygiene conditions. For instance, in poultry processing, hot water is used in scalding process. This is where slaughtered chickens are submerged into hot water for a period of about 2 minutes to ease defeathering process after that. The question is, can solar process heat meet industrial process heat demand? Yeah? Can solar do the job for the industry players? That's the main question, perhaps. Because perhaps many of you have not seen how solar can meet industrial process heat. You will be surprised to know that solar energy, or solar thermal technology, can provide heating from low temperature, 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, right up to 450 degrees Celsius. At 450, you can do lots of things. Okay. For low temperature heat, we can utilize standard flat collector. Okay. For medium temperature heat, we can use evacuated tube collectors. Whereas for high temperature application, we can utilize concentrated solar in the form of parabolic trough or Fresnel collectors. The real challenge is how to do this integration into your existing energy supply system in your factory, in the industry. Based on our study, these are potential industrial subsectors to benefit from solar process heat because of their temperature requirement. Food and beverage, pulps and paper, rubber glove, hotels and hospitals. When we undertake this solar thermal project, we started with these simple steps. Okay, identifying energy demand. That's very important. By doing this mass energy balance, we do some measurement aside, we do some calculation based on certain energy principle. After that, we design hot water storage capacity according to the energy demand at that particular process. Later, we design proper heat exchanger to ensure optimum heat transfer. We ensure that we get the right temperature at the process required in the industry. And finally, we determine solar collector area needed to meet the energy demand. Okay, and this is all done using software called TSOLVE. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed the first industrial scale solar thermal plant installed in the country, the first one in the country. For poultry processing plant, it serves as a demo plant to exhibit how the technology works, and also serves as a platform for sharing of knowledge and disseminations of information to industries and public, like what I'm doing today. The project won National Energy Award in 2018 and also won ASEAN first runner-up under off-grid thermal category. I said earlier, this is the first project at the industrial scale taken by SIRIM. Yeah? We don't stop there. We continue to do more and more projects for industry to prove and demonstrate how the system can be applied at various industries. For instance, this is another example, a project by SIRIM for F&B. The process here is required for food preparation. The company managed to reduce LPG consumption when partial heat is supplied by solar heating. Okay. This is another project, another successful project when we utilize heat for sterilization of beverage. Okay. I say sterilization doesn't require high temperature. So instead of getting the heat from the steam generated by electricity, we propose solar solution, which is indeed much more cost-effective and greener. Okay. This is another example. Company utilizing solar hot water for beverage preparation. Yeah, Puan Farah will share a bit more later on in her sharing session how this technology helped them, to save energy and to grow her businesses. Okay. Some hot water used in food preparation. However, in the case of this particular company, Ever Delicious, a company that makes cookies and biscuits, the company utilized hot water for cleaning some mold. In this kind of factory, you keep, changing mold from one to another, and you are in the biscuits industry, all your mold basically end up with all these margarines and butter, and it's not easy to clean them. So hot water provide a perfect solution. Okay, in the past, the company relies on all this LPG gas to provide hot water for cleaning purposes, but nowadays, 100% of hot water coming from solar. So another successful project. After the first success in the poultry processing plant, We also managed to complete another large-scale project in Johor. Supplies hot water for scalding process, for chicken processing. The collector's area stands at 500 square meter and installed on the rooftop there, okay? And it's got the thermal storage tank that accommodate up to 25,000 liters or 25 cubic meters at 85 degrees Celsius. So these systems ensure enough supplies of hot water for scalding process throughout the day. So this is where the company saved from previously used diesel and electricity for heating of water, but now the system, is partially replaced with solar heating. Ladies and gentlemen, we share you just now projects that be taken by SIRIM. Those are the first in the country. However, I want to alert you that in Europe in particular, where solar irradiation is much, much lower compared to Malaysia, we have seen many of these plants before in very start of industry. Here I show you some of the electrochemical cleaning plant that we see in Switzerland, okay? Utilizing solar thermal for heating of chemical bath. I'm also sharing here some international projects where solar heating being used in meat processing plant in Austria. I've been to this plant. Gatorade in USA, beverage company, and also solar cooling. This is another application other than the industry for commercial building, okay, in this United World College and also in this CGD Lisbon. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the second energy solution to embark when we talk about this, electricity, energy, is to basically embark on this solar energy storage, and IoT system to achieve smart energy management, okay? This is in the era of digitalizations of energy management, okay? When we talk about...
Sorry, Haji Fauzi, the time is up already. Maybe we can give you another 3 minutes.
Yeah, okay, I'm finishing in maybe less than 2 minutes, please, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sorry, thank you for... So, okay, with the advancements of digitalization in power sector, power grids will be smarter and capable of allowing bidirectional flows of electricity and information from utility to consumer. Not only that, the grid is becoming more and more prepared to accept more renewable energy, including energy storage. Okay, the first project that we did for solar energy is basically these projects under this FIT scheme in the early 2015, 2013, and name 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so and now the next project that we did was basically we don't just employ solar PV, but now what we did was SIRIM Intelligent Energy Management System, where we employ solar PV, energy storage, and intelligent energy management, where we can achieve basically saving through reducing maximum demand and peak shaving. Okay. And these are some of the projects I highlight very quickly that we did. This is a real project at 3 different companies, JPC Intan Johor, APS Manja, as well as DD Plastic. Okay, so what's next? What's next is that the next major development and game changer in energy management is people like you and me beginning to appreciate the rules of energy storage. Yeah, this is very important. I say, to make it short, this energy storage enables us in 2 ways: to improve power qualities and reliability. And the second one there, retail energy time shifting. With energy storage, you can, embark on new tariff, for instance, like ETAL, where previously without solar PV, without energy storage, you cannot do that because this is demand response. And then where you can achieve more cost saving. So any one of you maybe interested to find out more about the project that we do and how it can help you to save energy and to manage your energy better, you can always contact me. You have my number down there and also my email there for reference. With that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Encik Muhammad Fauzi, for the informative and interesting presentation. Move on, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, may I now invite Encik Muhammad Nazri Ahmad, alias Muhammad Sanif, Senior Researcher of Environment Management Section, Environment Technology Research Center, to deliver his presentation. Please welcome Encik Muhammad Nazri.
Thank you, Puan Mimi. My name is Muhammad. Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Nazri bin Ahmad. I'm a Senior Researcher from Environmental Technology Research Center, SIRIM SIRIM Industrial Research Department. Today, I'm very excited to talk about carbon footprint, which is one of service that offered by my section, which is environment management, to support the industry for business environmental sustainability. Maybe you are familiar with this diagram, which is developed by United Nations for Sustainable Development Goals. Here we can see that there are 17 trusts. My section, environmental management, focus on the trust number 12 and 13, which is responsible consumption and production, and also climate change by offering a service related to the life cycle assessment of a product or services. Basically, there are two ways in environmental assessment for your product or services. First, there are life cycle assessment is based on ISO 14044, which is a multiple eco-impact categories, including the global warming, acidification, ozone depletion, and so on. And the other one is carbon footprint, which is more focused on single impact category, which refer to global warming potential or climate change. In this process, we refer to ISO 14067 for product and ISO 14064 for organization carbon footprint. And sometimes we also refer to GSG protocol for product, organization, and community. There are many benefits if you want to implement the CFP analysis. For example, for carbon combination, for example, let's say you have know the value of your CFP of your product, then you can tell your consumer or your client about this value to show that your company or your product is concerned about the environment. The second one is to identify the hotspot based on the life cycle of the product or service, and green supply chain selection for your supplier. And if you are also the supplier to the other company, then you can use it as a marketing evidence in terms of environmental issue. And then for process improvement, carbon emission, and this one can be done by yourself following the ISO type 2 equilibrium requirement, and whatever value, and then the calculation procedure, you can just prepare the report and provide to your consumer or your client. But for make it the CFP assessment more reliable and boleh dipercayai, you can go to another stage by a third-party verification. In SIRIM, we have a product carbon labeling. You can see here the logo. This scheme was run under SIRIM QS. And then if you get this logo, there are several benefits that you can get, and you can use it to apply point scoring in green building rating certification. For example, MyCREST, Green Building Index, and Green RE. And then you can also use this to apply for Green My Hijau Mark under Green Tech Technology, Green MGTC Malaysia, Green Technology Malaysia. And this step, normal step in applying the carbon certification, product carbon certification scheme. there are two steps here: measurement and certification and labeling. And the measurement start from the quantification rules. That means for each product category, you have to refer. If you want to do the calculation of the CFP value, we have to refer to the particular specific standard for that product category. For example, macam clay roof tile, we have to first develop the requirement or standard for CFP calculation for clay roof tile. This quantification rule is based on life cycle assessment from cradle to grave. And then second one is the product data sheet. Is used to collect the data, and then after data collection, we can just do the CFP calculation and prepare the CFP report. After the CFP report has been prepared, you can pass to the SIRIM certification and the SIRIM QS for auditing process and labeling. For the product category, product carbon labeling, first we have to develop the standard that we call product category rules. So this standard is developed under SIRIM standard, SIRIM STS. And then if you want to apply for carbon footprint for your product, first you can refer to this website to check whether the product category rules is already established for your product category or not. If not, you can propose or request the SIRIM QS to develop the new product category rules for your product category. After we develop the product category rules, and then for the calculation, there are two type of data here. First one is inventory data from your actual or set inventory data from your process, and the second one is the background data. For the background data, normally we refer to MySID or Malaysia Life Cycle Inventory Database. This is developed in 2010 under MK9. And then there are more than 170 life cycle inventory dataset in our database, and this database is available for public access. And then for the calculation, normally we are using the SIRIM carbon calculator, which is developed by my section, environmental management section. And this carbon calculator is developed based on ISO 14067 requirement and IPCC guidelines to standardize the calculation and emission factor used in the CFP calculation. And then the background data is sourced from, as I said tadi, from MySCID and other commercial SCI database such as EcoInvent, Gabi, and so on. And we also provide the hotspot analysis to identify the which area or phase that contribute more or highest in terms of CO2 emission. For example, here you can see that the raw material is the hotspot for this process. And then from the result of the calculation, we can prepare the report. This is the example of the report for ceramic tiles, and then we can extract the information and result chart from the SIRIM carbon calculator to embed it in our report, and then we can tell the client or the company about which area should be improved in the future. Besides carbon footprint for the product, we also provide GSG accounting and reporting for the corporate level. For example, let's say we want to show to our masyarakat that we are focus on green, then we try to tell the public that we are in process of reducing the emission from GHG emission from the operation of our company in particular year. Then we can use this corporate reporting for GHG emission. The benefit, there are several benefits. For example, for cost saving, because as we know, related to the GHG emission is related to the fuel consumption and combustion. Then, if you try to reduce the GHG emission, is also secara tidak langsung akan turut mengurangkan penggunaan bahan api dan pembakaran bahan api. And then you also can use as a combination for, as I said earlier, for branding of your company in terms of environmental. And then there's a current demand from our public to request the company to do lebih menumpukan perhatian kepada isu alam sekitar dengan lebih fokus kepada pengurangan pembebasan gas GHG. This list of the commercial and project that previously that we have done. It started from 2001, early 2000, with GMI in Jetro in Japan. And then we had established the National Life Cycle Inventory Database in 2006 to 2010, based on MK9 budget. And we also have a EU Swiss Asia project to develop a carbon footprint scheme in 2002 and 2005. And then there are also contoh-contoh company yang we have engaged to do the commercial project in terms of capacity building. For example, Petronas, UVM, Agenta, Top Glove, Eco.co. And we also provide the consultancy in do the CFP calculation and reporting for MADI, ammonia, dan beberapa syarikat lagi. Dan saja untuk kali ini. So kalau if you have any question or you have a plan to embark for CFP calculation and reporting for your product or organization, please contact me or Puan Martina, my session head, dengan merujuk kepada kontak nombor dan email yang tertera. Sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Encik Nazri, for the informative and interesting presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, please allow me to invite the S. Azhar Abdul Rauf, Director of Industrial Center of Innovation for BioEnergy, to deliver his presentation. Please welcome the S. Azhar.
Thank you, Madam Mimi, for your kind introductions. And so thank you for organizer for giving me the opportunity to present at this webinar. Okay, just now we heard about this energy management and also about the special waste management. So the cost saving can be done through energy management, also from special waste management, and also the other option is through technology intervention, where through the right technology application, such as heavy metal recovery from wastewater treatment plant. So the wastewater treatment plant normally the most difficult, the most unprofit. I mean, it didn't generate income. It consume a lot of money. So we need to have a right technology, approach technology that we can reduce, particularly reduce the cost of disposal of the sludge. So this can be done through technology that called crystallization process. So this crystallization process will create a byproduct where we can recycle. Sometimes we can recycle, and also can reduce the disposal cost. If as you can see here, recently there are many news about the river pollutions and contaminations due to heavy metals, and such as contamination in water pollution in Penang. You can see leachate come out from the untreated leachate, discharge from the landfills, and also solvents, heavy metals, and sometimes cyanide also. So heavy metals such as zinc and cyanides are colorless, and it's no smell, and it's very difficult for us to detect. Here, there are typical heavy metals that present in the wastewater and their source. If you look at this table, the lead plumbum normally generated from the batteries or from the pigments from the glasses and plastic stabilizer. Arsenic from electronic and glass production industry. Copper from electronic and cable industry. Zinc, a lot of zinc containing wastewater in Malaysia, particularly in the rubber industry. Chromium from steel, pulp and mill and tanneries. Cadmium as well, and mercury also. And also nickel from stainless steel and nickel plating industry. So if you look how this thing currently, the common process that we use to handle this wastewater is using a standard called that physical chemical process to remove heavy metals. So this method require a significant amount of chemical and also produce large amount of slashes. This slash need to be sent, to quality alam for safe disposal. If you look at this diagram, normally the wastewater from the factory is stored. First is sent to the cruising tank, and then is pumped to the so-called reaction tanks to initiate the chemical reactions, and further is coagulants and flocculant is added to speed up the settling process. Then you go to the clarifier or sedimentation tank to separate this water, and then it produce a watery slush, the byproducts. So this slush normally have high moisture content. Even after dewatering, the moisture content is still high, in the range of 50 to 70%. And we look, normally you have got huge, larger footprint. So this slush is categorized as code is a SW204. It's containing inorganic constituent and contain metal and organic materials. So this one need to be sent to contain. So just imagine the slush have water content about 70%. We just pay for water, not for heavy metals. And alternatively, in SIRIM, we have developed an innovative solution to overcome this problem. So unlike the previous technology, this we call crystallization process. This process does not produce a slush. Okay? It produces pure granules of metal carbonate, metal carbonates, or sulfide. Depend. This process is depend on complexity of water. Sometimes this granule can be recycled back directly to the factory, or we can dispose it. It depends complexity of the wastewater. Some wastewater contain many kind of constituents such as chromium, cyanide is mixed together, so it's very difficult to recycle back. But for single component, it's very easy to do that. So the principle is this: the wastewater. This is the features. So the wastewater is pumped at the bottom, and we add seeding material inside the columns, and the waste, this seeding material will be in suspension form. Coagulant reaction will take place, and this precipitate will coated into the surface of media of the seeding material, and this how the crystallization process is initiated. Then this the heavy once the granule size grow to 1 to 2 mm in diameter, the heavier part will be settled down, and we can remove it out from the on the reactor. So this show our first of its kind of treatment plant that we installed in chromium factory. So this process at this site is very challenging because the heavy metals, the chromium plus concentration is about 1000 ppm, and the discharge standard is less than 0.05. So we need to combine many processes to get this one. So and the interesting part is that the sludge that we produce, the moisture content just less than 5%, so very low. So if we compare with the two process in next slide, okay, in conventional process we have we look into the byproduct composition, mostly contain water, 70%, as compared to the crystal process where only 5% moisture. So the rest is heavy metal. So we look to this slide. So in conventional process, you need very large footprints and high cost, very costly to dispose because we just high water content, and the product non-recyclable, cannot be recycled, and have to go for the probably go through the special waste management. Some can be recycled back. Okay, and you look into the advanced process. It is single one column, a small footprint, and very less water, and it can be recycled. And so let's look into the case study. This is we have done the study by taking sample from the rubber factory. We do our lab, and we do a simulation in our lab. So in some acid lactate wastewater from rubber industry, normally they have a lot of zincs. The zinc concentration can be from the range from 350 to 1,500 ppm. So in average, it's about 800 milligram per liter. And the process use a lot of water. In average, about 500 cubic meter per day. And if you look into the whole, compare the process begin with the conventional and crystal process, we see normally for the conventional process, moisture is about 65%. And we look the recovered zinc sulfide or the sludge, and in a day about 1.7 ton, as compared to crystal process about less than half of that. So per year, total sludge generated per year about 520 ton, and crystal process about 160 ton. So we add in all the costs, because for zinc roughly the cost about 700 ton per 700 ringgit per ton to be disposed, and also we add also the logistics cost, total about 780. So we all in together, the disposal cost about 400,000 as compared to crystal process about 100. So they are saving there, saving a year about 250K for this size of factory. So the capex, so for the crystal process, the capex, it depends on the nature of wastewater. It can be same or slightly higher for the capex, and OPEX is more or less is same. So this reactor actually concept can be applied to many industry, electroprinting, electronics, and also even it can use to recover precious metal. So in arsenic wastewater, even for water treatment system, water softening to remove hardness, calcium, magnesium, and also can recover phosphate, or the fertilizer phosphate from sewage or from any phosphate, and also from the semiconductor, ferrite container wastewater. And
Another 3 minutes, Cik Azhar.
Okay. All right. Okay, almost finished. Okay, this we can repurpose the existing plant by do retrofitting or process optimization. And the cost is about, depend on the size, roughly. Depend on the size, about can be 200,000 onwards. So this is our plans, our first kind of plan we built last time. So I think that is all about my presentation, Mimi. So thank you very much. If you need more information, you can contact me at this email or can WhatsApp me. So thank you very much for your kind attention.
You're welcome. Thank you, T.S. Azhar, for the informative and interesting presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we move on? Up next, may I now invite T.S. Hassan Ismaila, Senior Executive of Industrial Center of Innovation for BioEnergy, to deliver his presentation. Please welcome T.S. Hassan.
All right, let me start. I started my first day, or to be precise, my first morning at SIRIM, by climbing on the back of a lorry and start using a submersible pump to transfer oleochemical wastewater into a raw water tank as feedstock for our USB and fixed bed anaerobic reactors. Each of them has a capacity of 100 liters. I am delightful to announce that as of today, I have spent almost half my lifetime, or 24 years, 3 months and 14 days with SIRIM. Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. On behalf of IC BioEnergy, I, Hassan Ismaila, would like to share with you our experience and maybe some knowledge during our involvement in the development of wastewater, biogas and biomethane projects. As we are growing older, I mean by age, we have pledged that from today onwards, we aim to disseminate and pass down as much as possible our almost 100 years combined experience and knowledge to the next generation. Let's start with a 90-second video presentation.
Ketibaan yang amat berhormat Ketua Menteri Sarawak.
Kasih sayang terlalu indah untuk dikenang selamanya.
Para pihak yang telah terlibat dalam menjayakan projek pembangunan logistik ini, khususnya kepada pihak SIRIM Berhad, selalu running proses.
Yang nak tahu kedai ni merawatkan sisa sagu. Mak segatnya mesti terbang kampung teh. Mak dapat nada. Kena pertama di dunia. Siapa di Malaysia dunia pertama.
Okay, the video you just saw is for a project in Muka, Sarawak, a project which is a living example how we transfer our knowledge to the next generation, a committed generation from Kuching, Sarawak. We are happy to know that now that they are not only the expert in sagu wastewater treatment but also the best that we have in the country. The AD, or anaerobic digester, is a self-sufficient system and able to produce excess biogas equivalent to about 5,000 liters of diesel a day with a simple payback, we reckon less than 5 years. And I cannot reveal more since the video itself is self-explanatory. Our design principle while delivering solution for solid waste or wastewater problem are simple better, and cheaper solution for a complex problem. Let's try a very simple example. The final discharge from a biological treatment system of Industry A exceeded the allowable COD limit. Our approach is to find the root cause of the problem by conducting a comprehensive mass balance and wastewater characteristic study, one that is more thorough than the ordinary IECS. We opt for this since we know that the problem could only be due to color or recalcitrant organics, soluble microbial product, or simply because of the TSS. There were cases where non-compliant discharge can be easily treated to meet the compliant standard using physical treatment only by means of filtering the discharge. It's cheap, simple, and you can forget about the AOP. How do we know this? We use our knowledge on the basic biochemical composition of wastewater, which are carbo, protein, and lipid. In most cases, for ordinary wastewater, the TSS value should not exceed the COD value. For example, the minimum stoichiometric ratio shall not go lower than 1.07 unit COD per unit carbo. For lipid, say for palmitic or C16, the limit is 2.875, while protein, depending on its type, will sit in between carbo and the lipid values. For biogas and biomethane, again, we will start with biochemical composition analysis, comprehensive mass balance, and finally, we will run BMP test to determine the biokinetic parameters that we will use in our design calculation. These biokinetic parameters and biogas quality from the BMP test, as well as from the theoretical value obtained from stoichiometric calculation using biochemical composition, will provide us the design value for the digester, biogas dome, piping sizes, fan chillers, flares, H2S scrubber, genset, etc. Lessons learned. Please do this before you bid for FIT, or else you will struggle to make the quick profit if your net power for export to the grid is much lower than the DAA awarded to you by SEDA. The same goes to biomethane production. We have seen this situation so many times. This experience, and coupled with our full understanding in wastewater, biogas and biomethane, have developed our capacity to provide third-party verification and validation to related project, process and product. Our previous and current client, for example, are Berhad, KGEV, Felda Waters and Swing Water, which also previously known as Ebara Environmental. While it is a goal of SIRIM to offer its support for all industry in Malaysia, we reckon that project funders, project developer, clients, contractors and industries currently facing problems with the wastewater or waste are the parties that will be benefited the most from IC BioNG tech sharing and technical services. For funder, a funding proposal submitted to you might contain all the numbers that look promising on paper with an acceptable payback period. However, in real life, the reality could be different. For example, we have seen a feasibility study report which used specific methane conversion yield of 0.35 normal cubic meter methane per kg COD removed at 39 degrees Celsius. Normal cubic meter refers to condition at 0 degrees Celsius and pressure at 1 bar, while the ordinary 1.5 mm HDPE dome pressure is negligible since it requires only less than 0.3 MBAR to be fully inflated or max at 0.5 MBAR for aesthetic reason. Bankers, don't worry with the jargon. The easy explanation is the methane production was overestimated by 14%. That is just one variable and it's already accounted for 14%. There are several other variables contributed to the final yield, And just imagine the resulting value if all the factors are compounded. Don't worry. Please do not rate them as high risk yet. We are still here and available to provide you the peace of mind you need, knowing that SIRIM is readily available to come to the table as an independent third party to assist you to determine the level of risk possessed by a project so that you can make the difficult investment decision. Or perhaps let us review some sample of your already approved funding. Depending on the outcome, you may still have the time to do something. On the other hand, for a future successful project developer, you may have been awarded a project and you are given a certain time period to kick off the project and you might need the working capital. You approach a funder, but luckily, or perhaps unfortunately, the funder was one of the attendees for our webinar today. So they started asking you so many technical questions and they asked you to furnish them with all the information for your application to be considered. Not yet approved, yeah? Don't worry. Let the solution come from the same source of the problem. Contact us and we will provide you the remedy. Of course, for a small fees. Assuming everything goes well between the developer and the funder, now we have the last party to worry about. It is the big boss or the client. You, the developer, have completed the job and need your final payment ASAP. Maybe the factor will chase the final payment if you do factory. The client answered back to you or the factor that they need a proof or a written proof that you have fulfilled your contractual obligation and guarantees as stated in the contract document. Luckily, again, the client was also one of our webinar attendees. Long story short, and again, not to worry, contact us. We will protect the interest for both of you. Finally, to those industry having problems with your overloaded wastewater treatment plant, or you may have a warehouse already fully occupied with barrels of wastewater to be treated, since your daily wastewater volume is not that much, so you keep it. But the DOE has been knocking on your door. Okay, what to do? Please, don't throw it to the river. We have encountered enough water disruption problem in Selangor. As our fellow funder, developer and big boss will do after this, you should follow suit. We try our best to provide you the best and the cheapest solution. And if there is none available, we will develop one especially for you. Just don't forget the small fees for us. Okay, first and foremost, we are an independent party who will take care of the interests of both parties. For example, the service provider and its intended recipient. If it is good, we'll say good. If on the other hand, if it is lemon, we'll say lemon. Our vast experience of working with various type of solid waste and wastewater make us craving for new challenges for a more complex and recalcitrant waste. Our long journey has provided us with so many lessons learned to be implemented or not to be repeated to promote the recurrences of desirable outcome and at the same time to avoid undesirable outcome in similar project. At the same time, this has made us good when it comes to identifying risks associated with a particular project. We are ready to accept challenges for new type of wastewater. Other service provider will try to avoid since we have, I wouldn't say second to none, but well-equipped laboratories which can handle pretty much anything related to waste and wastewater, wet chemistry and biological analysis. For new process, we also have several test benches for the development works. Our affiliated lab, we share the same building with us. It's an ISO 17025 accredited lab and some of us were previously competent. This gives us the ability to spot any abnormality in a test report by just a glimpse on it. To prevent us from doing mistake, we check our data before releasing our work to be scrutinized by an external reviewer with technical credential in that matter of interest. Finally, rest assured your information is safe with us and we will contain the data within the parameter of SIRIM complex. If necessary, we can also arrange to print your report using SIRIM security papers. Okay, these are short bio of my directors and myself. He did his bachelor degree in Japan while I obtained my master from Auckland Uni and NZAC. But something just doesn't add up here. We did mention about 100 years combined experience, right? And it's only 50 years from both of us. Again, don't worry, rest assured, because there are many more of us behind the screen to support your endeavor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that all of you have acquired the knowledge from presentation delivered in depth.